Good morning. I'm Russell Shaw. I'm happy to be talking here with Adriano and Clara. Let's get this started.
And I think probably the hardest year that I had in my life was my first year living in DC.
But I think the one that's probably most relevant and probably mostly only applies to me, everyone here, is getting my green card to come to the US was insanely complicated.
So, I think as some people in the community know, but not a lot of the seniors, I guess. I've mentioned it, and I think some of you know, but I lost my first husband when I was 38. He had metastatic colon cancer, and our kids were 8, 6, and 3 at the time.
I went to college my freshman and sophomore year, and I was sort of lost in trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. So I actually decided to take a gap year after my sophomore year to figure out like what direction do I want to go with. I wasn't sure what major, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I was provided a unique opportunity through a friend of my father's to go work on a cattle ranch in Australia.
That's why I think answering this question of like the hardest thing I've been through is difficult. So here's my cop-out answer. Or it's not a cop-out, it's just, I don't know, whatever, my answer. Two sort of twin experiences, graduating high school and graduating college.
First thing that came to mind was an event. When my father passed away, my mother wanted me to do the eulogy, which I did. But it was like short notice, how are you gonna figure this out? Not something I expected to do. And yeah, that was challenging to get through. But it was also like a confined, like, here's a thing that happens, it needs to happen by now, so it's done. To think about sort of the ongoing piece, there's that bigger picture, like, how do you teach in a post-COVID world?
There's a lot of details to the story, and we get moving, we're going to the bus, and it's torrential downpour, and there's lightning and thunder, and the children are scared. The children are, some of them are oblivious, and some of them are very scared. As we're getting the last adult on the bus, he, in effect, got struck by lightning.
One was when I was on the Hill and getting ready to start law school, and I had been admitted into a good law school and saw people with these sort of career paths that seemed to make a lot of sense, and I had often made choices that just made sense in my life. And I remember a friend sort of saying, like, there is this incredibly strong gravitational pull towards following through with that. And, my then girlfriend's mother, now mother-in-law, even sort of said to me, like, you're not going to go to Stanford Law School. Like, are you out of your mind? And for somebody who had often, like, was an achiever and sort of did, the next thing, to resist that and really say, I'm actually going to try to do something different and take a risk, was a really hard thing to do, because it lacked the sort of safety of a path that was clear to me to something that I really knew nothing about and had no idea how it was going to go. So that, having been just like this and saying, all right, I'm going to take a leap and I'm going to take a turn and I don't know what's going to happen, that was really hard. Connected to that, so that was 1994.
Ambiguity is hard. Every situation that I have struggled with, really found challenging in my life, has had to do with the ambiguity of the right thing.
Answers to that. The first one is grief, dealing with grief. Dealing with grief, I think, is definitely the hardest. The other part to that too, I think, that also makes sense for me, and I'm more realizing it is more identity based. It's this idea of like fitting in versus belonging.
When I was very young, my parents divorced, and it was a tumultuous divorce. When I was older, I went through divorce, and that had its own ghosts that I had to parse through. When professionally, one of the hardest moments that I've encountered has been actually closing a school.
I just hope that, like, my piece of advice is if you have an opportunity to do something like different, don't be afraid to do it. Like, go for it. Like, because those are the best experiences I've had in life are times when I've gone outside my comfort zone.
It's a big world out there, and things will happen. Some that are awesome and some that are not. And there is still so much joy in this world.
After you watch this video, quest night will